The Mediterranean was once a major crossroads at the heart of the ancient world. Today, it has become a barrier separating Europe from Africa. Is there anything left of a past once shared? And what do today's distinct cultures have in common? Journalist Zineb El Masrar and Jafar Abdul Karim travel the coasts of the Mediterranean in search of answers.
Do you see yourself as a Tunisian Jew?
Yes, with all the rights and responsibilities.
How can you afford the food for all these animals?
God helps us. Join us to get to know the people and their dreams. A Mediterranean journey.
I've come to Egypt, the land of the Pharaohs. The North African nation has around 700 kilometers of Mediterranean coast. That Arabic phrase means the mother of the world, because that's what lots of people in the Arabic-speaking world call Egypt. Many associate Egypt with the pyramids, but there's another side, the Mediterranean. Today we're in northern Egypt, about to take an exciting journey along the coast. Egypt is considered the cradle of civilization. The pyramids of Giza are among the oldest buildings in the world. They lie just a few kilometers from the capital, Cairo, and the Nile, the lifeblood of the country, flows into the Mediterranean Sea. Egypt connects North Africa with the Middle East. The country is home to over 100 million people. My journey begins in the second largest city, Alexandria. Its major library, the Biblioteca Alexandrina, which opened in 2002, is right here on the promenade. It's not my first visit, and once again, I'm struck by how much Egyptian society is characterized by stark contrasts. Very conservative values collide with modernity. I wonder what impact those differences have on dating and finding a partner. Shaima Ali founded the Muslim dating app, Hawaya.
A woman in Egypt or in the Middle East, it's difficult for her to have dates like in what happens in the Western countries. So that's why when we thought of creating a mobile application that help young Muslim women and men find their life partner.
Shaima and her colleagues use scientific methods and psychological testing to find the right partner for everyone. But the most important thing is how the app is structured. It has to be modern, without conflicting with religious and cultural values. The social consensus is that women should marry young and have lots of children. How did you get the idea?
The idea came to me and the other founders because we've had these experiences. The way people talk, the way my mother's friends put her under psychological pressure. Then she would come to me and say, "You've got old." Ever since I was 24, I've been under that psychological pressure, even though I work and I'm successful, and I have lots of hobbies and I travel. But none of that is recognized by Egyptian families. They see marriage as the sole indicator of a girl's success.
Why is the focus on Islam when religion maybe no longer plays such a role in marriage today?
We had the feeling Muslims have concerns about getting to know each other through dating. These days, young Muslims want to use something modern, something technically up to date, but at the same time they don't want something that their parents might say is haram or inappropriate or wrong.
What about relationships outside marriage?
No. The idea with Hawaya is that it's meant for marriage. Of course, we don't tell anyone using it that they have to get married within a certain time, but they should understand that a relationship they start through this app is serious.
fresh fish straight from the Mediterranean. For some, it's a hobby. For others, a tough way of making a living. But a passion for seafood unites all Alexandrians. The first port of call for all manner of specially prepared seafood is the restaurant Zafir, situated right by the water. The kitchen is overseen by head chef Mohammed Jabber. These fish here, are they all from the Mediterranean around Alexandria?
All from the Mediterranean. We don't have any from the Red Sea.
What's that one?
It's called moussa.
Why is it special?
It tastes very good fried, and you can also stuff it. You can have it with butter, but it's best fried.
Someone told me about something called singari?
To make sangari, I cut open a large fish.
Let's have sangari, and let's take this one. You can make sangari with this too, right? Shrimp?
Of course, and some squid.
Squid, yeah. And you'll show me how to make it all, and the special filling. Today is Saturday. Things are busy in the kitchen. I'm getting hungry.
The oil and lemon mixture. The oil and lemon mixture.
What's it for?
It's a very Alexandrian thing. It's for the fish. We use it for the filling. Garlic, celeriac, dill, mustard, and spices.
But it's not sangari?
No, this is sangari. Here's our fish. First, we spread salt on the baking tray so the fish doesn't stick. We'll take both the fish. I'll do one and you do one, okay? So we do it like this, with our hands. Oil and lemon. You take oil and lemon, and that's how you make your fish.
Oh my God, I've never cooked anything like this.
Yes, just like that.
I'm the new chef.
That's the moussa.
What's that?
The moussa fish we filled.
Oh yeah, I recognize it now. What do most people order here?
Sangari fish, because the sauce mixture is really special. One of the best sauces we have in Alexandria.
Okay.
We're coastal dwellers. We can prepare anything that comes out of the sea.
Until the 1950s, Greek, Italian, French, and British migrants lived and worked in Alexandria. Today, the port city, with a population of around 5 million, has some major social problems, like poverty and a housing shortage. In 2019, an Egyptian's average monthly income was around 235 euros. Did you do an apprenticeship or study?
I only went to school until grade 9.
9th grade? Why?
I didn't finish school. Education doesn't feed you. Learning a trade or a job pays more. My father died when I was 6. There was no one to look after me.
How long have you been working?
I'm 29.
At what age did you start?
14.
14?
Yes.
I'm leaving Alexandria and heading to Ras El Bar, just under 3 hours away by car. It's situated on both the Mediterranean Sea and the Nile Delta. For thousands of years, the river has been Egypt's lifeline. I'm now here in Ras El San. In Arabic, it means head of the tongue. It's called that because behind me, the longest river in the world, the Nile, flows into the Mediterranean. People here find that really special. Another special thing about Damietta province here is that it has the country's first female Christian governor, and I'm going to meet her. Just a few kilometers further down the Nile Delta is the city of Damietta. It's a thriving port and the capital of Damietta province. In 2018, Dr. Manal Awad Mikhail became the first Coptic Christian to head a provincial government in Egypt. And she's only the second woman ever to govern one of the country's 27 provinces.
The whole country is moving towards the empowerment of women. Personally, I'm very interested in women being financially, socially, and culturally strong. It's one of the most important prerequisites for a modern country.
In predominantly Muslim Egypt, an estimated 10% of the population are Christian, most of them Coptic Christians. Manal Awad Mikhail, who was a Christian herself, is heavily protected by security guards. Radical Islamists have repeatedly attacked institutions like churches and schools. And Christians also face state discrimination here. What does this experience mean for you? Because you represent Egypt, but also a religious minority. Even if Christians in the country don't like to see themselves as a minority, at the end of the day, there are far fewer of you than there are Muslims.
I was very pleased. I took it as a sign that Egypt has changed, that people don't get advantages because of their background. Instead, positions are allocated to candidates because of their suitability for the job. We now have a constitution that protects the rights of Christians. There are 4 laws that protect the rights of women and Christians, and also those of other religions.
The law states this, but the reality is different. For example, the law may encourage the restoration of churches, but the social mood is different.
There might be a few troublemakers in some villages. That can be the case anytime, anywhere. But those are exactly the examples for us, where we can teach people acceptance and respect.
Some Egyptians say that they're happy, that Egypt is in a phase of positive change. But others say freedoms are being suppressed, political views are being suppressed, and there are political prisoners. What kind of Egypt do you see today?
There are simply times when certain things aren't possible. Now, after the upheaval and the revolution, it's easy to sway public opinion and unsettle people with demonstrations. The country just can't handle that right now. Egypt has just experienced an economic collapse.
But why can't you have a functioning economy and change?
You're talking about security matters here. I can't comment.
Since the so-called Arab Spring in 2011, many have been fighting for freedom, democracy, and human rights. It's been a hard struggle, especially since Abdel Fattah al-Sisi became president. From Damietta, I'm traveling to Port Said, 50 kilometers away. The modern industrial port city lies on the Suez Canal. Completed in 1869, the canal connects the Mediterranean with the Red Sea. These days, most vessels that pass through the waterway are container ships from the Far East, or oil tankers from the Gulf. On the ferry, I meet architect Mohammed Hassan. He's offered to give me a historical tour of the city.
We're between two continents, between Africa and Asia. Port Fouad is on the Asian side, and Port Said on the African side. Port Fouad is the newer city. It wasn't built until 1926, while Port Said dates from 1859. The city was built for Suez Canal workers.
Port Fouad's Grand Mosque isn't the only interesting thing the city has to offer. The colonial architecture is also remarkable. The European influence is visible everywhere. The canal was nationalized in 1956 by Egyptian President Gamal Abdel Nasser. Before that, Port Fouad was mainly home to foreigners working for the Franco-British Suez Canal Company. Tell me about what you do.
We run tours to make Egyptians aware of the history of their country and also for people from abroad. Port Said is not a tourist destination. When you come to Egypt, people tell you go to Luxor, Aswan, Sharm el-Sheikh, Dahab, Cairo, Alexandria. No one says Port Said.
Why is history important?
It's the mirror of the future. If you have no history, you have no future.
Much of Egypt depends on tourism, and Port Fouad has more to offer than expected. So much walking around makes you hungry, and something sweet would be the perfect pick-me-up. We head to a local bakery. This is delicious. It's very, very, very sweet, but absolutely delicious. I'm going to take some to go. Why do people in this region always want their sweets to be really sweet, with loads of sugar, unlike in Europe? There they don't like things to be as sweet as here. Personally, I like sugar, but what do you think?
The people want things to be sweet. Our lives are hard enough. Why shouldn't we at least sweeten our food a little?
Maybe it's because sugar makes you happy. It makes you feel good. Yeah.
Sugar or not, the main thing is it tastes great. We also bought a little bread to feed the seagulls on the ferry back to Port Said.
I don't want to philosophize, but people who live by the sea don't see any borders in front of them. Nobody can control them. They always want freedom, want something better. I'm not saying we're better people, but people on the coasts have that feeling. You see it reflected in the residents of Port Said. They hate borders. They're rebellious.
That's important in Egypt right now. Coastal cities are gateways to the world, where people of different backgrounds and cultures come together. Port Said is the origin of Simsimia music. Traditionally, only men play the stringed instrument. But at the Al Hawiyat Club, we meet Iman Hado and her friends. They founded the first female Simsimia group. They're defying social norms and finding a little freedom through music. Why did you join the group?
First, I like music generally, and second, I like the group and the instrument. It's the most important thing in my life. It gives you a soul when you sing.
That's deep.
When you sing along with the lyre, it brings laughter and joy. It's an important folk instrument. It just makes you happy.
There must be people who say, but you're girls in headscarves, and female voices are indecent.
Yes, we hear it a lot.
What's your reaction?
We don't pay attention to what people say.
That's the last thing we think about. This is our dream, and we'll make it come true no matter how hard it is.
What do your families say?
Our families are right over there.
Who's that?
My mother.
Can we ask you something? When your daughter said she wanted to sing, what did you say?
She likes it. It makes her happy. I don't object to it at all. I'm always by their side. I'm like a mother to them all. I go everywhere with them, even when they travel.
But if one of them didn't wear a headscarf, would that be okay too?
Yes, no problem at all. What's most important is how she interacts with other people, and that she's decent. Then the headscarf question won't come up.
And now back to the music. Thanks very much. From Port Said, I'm returning to Alexandria, where my journey along Egypt's Mediterranean coast began a few days ago. Whenever I travel, I always read the local newspapers. But according to Reporters Without Borders, press freedom is extremely limited in Egypt. The UNHCR says there are more than 250,000 refugees living in Egypt, many of them from Sudan. In the hall of the Sacred Heart Church, we meet Amira Al-Masri. The 22-year-old started the WANAS initiative in 2018. The goal is to empower Sudanese children through art and drama workshops and help them integrate into Egyptian society. Hi, how are you? And all of you. I'd like to join your workshop. What do I have to do?
Let's all stand up, okay? Now we'll all say our name in a loud voice, and we'll make a movement that says something about ourselves. It doesn't matter what. Use your head, your body, jump, dance, anything. I'll start. My name is Amira, and this is the movement that says something about me.
My name is Eileen, and this is my movement.
I'm Basma, and this is my movement.
I'm Jafar, and this is my movement. What's the main reason you do this?
The most important reason is the bullying experienced by Sudanese children and refugee children in general. It mainly affects Sudanese children on the streets, at school or in housing estates. They're discriminated against because of their skin color. Difference and diversity in society is met with rejection. We're going to perform a little play for you now, okay?
Hey, Adam, you beanpole.
Don't make fun of me being tall. Your height is fine with me.
Yeah, but you're too tall. I bet you can never find clothes that fit.
Yes, it takes a long time to find my size. You probably find yours quite easily.
Aliyah made fun of Adam. That makes him sad. Did you see how Adam reacted?
It's like I'm saying mean things to you, and you answer back in a friendly way. But I'm making fun of you, and I shouldn't do that.
Bravo, well said.
What are the important issues for you right now?
The problem in Egypt is people thinking in right and left, black and white. Everyone thinks that if someone's different from them, they must be an enemy to be confronted. But in reality, diversity makes us strong.
The next morning, I leave Egypt and its Mediterranean coast with mixed feelings. It's a country with a long and great history, but its present is marked by enormous social and political difficulties. I found the people here in Egypt incredibly open. The food was superb. It's been wonderful to experience the country. But at the same time, it was difficult to get to know Egypt the way I'd hoped to. We always had minders with us, and getting filming permits was very, very complicated. Sometimes I noticed that people were afraid of expressing their opinions, which makes you realize that the country isn't so free.